Hi, I'm Aaron Garcia. Welcome to episode 3 of Conversations with Aaron. Share where I interview local artists, garner a few recommendations from them, and highlight their works. Today's guest will be Emmanuel.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, dude. You doing all right?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do this. All right, seat's okay. You're all nice and comfy.
Nice and comfy, man.
As you just fall over.
I know,
like,
I
I'm
just
good.
fall back.
All right, Emmanuel. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
First thing I want to say, congratulations. You graduated, right?
Thank you. Yes.
Awesome.
Class of 2022. Let's go.
Heck yeah, shout out. Yeah, I'll be class of 2022.
Yeah, you too, bro. You're part of it. This whole year.
Cool. Yeah, well, you want to talk about like your school experience? Like how are the past 4 years for you? Pretty good?
Yeah, dude, it's been good, man. It's been a journey. I started off, I graduated 2018 high school.
Oh, from high school? Nice.
Yeah, and then I went to community college.
Same.
Tarrant County
Nice.
Community College. Did there for about only one semester. I was on the deferred admission program, so I could just go there in the spring. So I went to UNT in the spring, and yeah, man, my UNT experience has been awesome. Minus 2020. It's kind of like
we just pretend like that.
We pretend that didn't happen. So I'm glad we were able, because at the time I was like, oh, I wonder if we're even gonna have walking.
Yeah.
They're gonna take that away, but
it's nice to see how far we've come from them. It's awesome.
It's awesome. So yeah, that was the whole thing. And then I met cool people along the way. Made some awesome productions and all that stuff. So
which I'm excited to get.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah. So it's been fun, man. It's been a whole journey, and I'm glad it's still going. And the relationships that have been formed from it.
Heck yeah, definitely. And what did you get your degree in?
Media arts.
Media arts? Yeah. Awesome. Hey, well, that's a smooth transition because now I can talk about it. Ooh, you saw that? I set that up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Media arts. So film, you're a filmmaker, a brilliant one. I'm so
thank you.
I'm so, it's like, bro, this is the next big filmmaker and we're witnessing the birth of it. It's awesome.
I appreciate you, man.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So where did that sort of, why'd you become a filmmaker? Was it just you're looking at the degree plan oh, this looks cool, or was it a lifelong passion?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I wanted to, when I was young, I always loved movies and books and stuff. So Star Wars was a big influence on me into getting into film and stuff.
Any particular one?
I know a lot of people don't like the prequels, but when you're young, you just.
Yo, I will fight whoever with the Revenge of the Sith is my personal favorite.
That's the one I actually watched a lot.
Yeah.
That was the very first Star Wars movie I saw, Revenge of the Sith.
Nice.
And I remember watching it over and over and over again, bro. And I was just I even had the Star Wars toys, and I would pretend that I'm making these whole elaborate stories with these characters, the toys and stuff, and using my imagination. And that at first I started writing because I wanted to write books because I thought I used to read a lot, so I was like, oh, this is an awesome way to just be creative and stuff. But once I found out about film and and doing home movies and stuff with my family, I realized oh, dude, a camera could carry a visual story, and you have tell art through videos and images. So I was like, this is clean. So I began to transition into doing that, and as I got older, I wanted to continue the passion. And when I got to UNT, I was like, this is it, man.
Nice. Okay, so cool. You had already sort of built up a little sort of career, an amateur career. That's great.
Yeah.
Tell me about the sort of beginnings or whatever. Do you recall any of the first little things? What sort of interested you? What kind of films that you want to make? Where you have the classic okay, I'm gonna make a killer in the house, those little sort of movies that everybody makes.
Now it's funny you say that because the very first thing I actually edited and I only filmed it. My brother edited it. It was a movie called Cops and the Robber. I did it with my younger brother, and my cousin from Louisiana came in town for the summer because during the summer he usually come hang out with us.
Cool.
I think I was around 12, and young man. So basically the premise of the movie was literally my younger brother was a cop and my cousin was a robber, and he was chasing him the whole thing. The traditional game.
Yeah.
So doing that whole movie, and then I had a little character guest appearance who would kind of come out of nowhere and foil both their plans.
Director's cameo.
Yes, sir. Yes, had to pull that Tarantino, man. But yeah, so that was the very first one, and I remember making it. I was just thinking it's almost like you get that hunger to do more,
Yeah, definitely. And
increase.
What was the sort of what equipment were you using then? Did your parents was it just a family camera you had, or did you ask your parents or family members hey, can you buy me a camera? So what were you using to feed that initial hunger?
So it was actually my older brother's Alex camera who's also into media and stuff.
He's watching this episode. He's like, oh, you're the one who stole my camera. I was looking for that.
Right. So it was a Sony. I'm not sure which one, but all I know it was It was like a 360p resolution camera.
Oh.
So
hey, for the time, that was probably good.
dude,
like,
yes, I tell people all the time, like I'm thinking like this is like Hollywood standard
Yeah.
issued camera, like even though everything looked like blocks or whatever, Minecraft blocks. But you know, it was dude, there's just the idea of being able to click a button and have these people that, you know, I know my family, right? I know them every day as whatever, as their respective selves, but seeing them transform into a character I tell them to be, or ask, you know, direct them to be, it was almost like, it took me back to playing with toys. I know that sounds weird, but it's like when I used to be a kid playing with these toys, having them do these scenarios, it reminded me of those moments. So that camera, it has a great memory. I don't know where it is now.
it's in heaven.
There we go. There you go. Where it belongs.
Looking down proudly, like, yo, I started.
Look what it started, right? It started all there.
Well, that's great. So I guess, I love talking to guests because it just opens up all these things. So like, I'm like, okay, this can go one of two ways. So I'll start with this one.
Yeah.
And your family members, you mentioned your brother being into media, like anybody else, like, or are you the only one who's like the filmmaker?
No,
like,
so
you come from a art scene?
Yeah, my whole family. So I have 4 brothers.
Nice.
All of us are pretty creative. The oldest one does music. His name is Alphonse, and then the second one was the one who let me use his camera. The second oldest, Alex. So he was into movies. My first time actually getting exposed to like doing home movies was this actually a Star Wars short that he directed and had me play the main character. So I was like this Jedi Knight because I had a lot of toy lightsabers, so we just used those. And it was a snow day too, so the whole time it was like pretending like I'm on this snowy planet. My younger brother was like my Padawan or whatever. For those who know, it's like someone that's underneath.
Yeah, what's the snow like Hoth?
It was like Hoth. I pictured it as a kid. I was thinking like, oh, this is Hoth, but really it's just my front yard.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like it's not that deep. But no, the whole movie, you know, I'm like battling these clones, these soldiers and stuff, and you know, just trying to fight the villain of the film who my brother played.
Nice.
So that was my first exposure, and he's really, I would say, Alex was the biggest influence on me getting into film and actually recording.
Hey, shout out to Alex.
Shout out to my brother Alex.
Hey.
But yeah, so he was the one, and the Caleb, my younger brother. Well, there's another one, the middle one, Eliu. He's not much of a film person, but you know, he would do the movies and stuff, and he was pretty creative and had ideas and thoughts and whatever. But my younger brother Caleb was like, he's actually in the very first movie I have on my YouTube, Donovan's Way. So he's been around like these home movies, and when I did a lot of my own home movies, he was the main character because, you know, he's right down, like literally lived like in the same house. So it's like, hey, you want to be my movie, bro?
You know, you got to keep these people in, like in the future, like no matter what.
Exactly. So it's like all my brothers were very influential on me becoming a filmmaker.
I love that. You know, it sounds like you had a really like good support system, everybody helping you out, because I mean that's the best. You know, when you're young and starting out, like your family's usually the crew, like, hey, can you help me do that?
Exactly. That's what's funny. Like you know, literally the very first movie I have on YouTube, it's just all family members and, you know, just family. So as I grew and I met more people at UNT, grew with a larger crew and cast, and yeah, just looking like the sky's the limit, right?
Heck yeah, dude. And just my own curiosity. So you mentioned Donovan's Way. Is that your first?
Yes, very first one. Yep.
Nice. Do you have any of those other like Star Wars shorts, like anywhere, like in your like personal hard drives, or are they all lost to the?
Well, actually, the very first. So I guess this is a little, a little inside scoop. The very first.
Conversations with Aaron exclusive.
But the very first, you know, it's the Like on Darth. It's available on YouTube right now. So by my brother Alex. So that was that's you could find on YouTube. It's not like a lot of views, but it's probably like buried in there. But yeah, man, that was that. I guess you could say that's the only old home movie available. All the other ones are like on like disc or whatever. So maybe one day they'll come back to the light.
Be a bonus feature.
Bonus feature.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, now I kind of want to get into, because you were mentioning, you know, you're kind of like director, and you know, you're sort of like directing them. Is that what you want to be, a director, or like is that like all you've done? Have you done any other positions? Like,
yeah, so you know, when I did these home movies, you know, I was directing, editing, but when I got to UNT, I began to do more roles and stuff. So a lot of them starting off was working, you know, doing audio and stuff, learning that, and as I continue doing that, it actually helped learning, like, you know, correct levels, how to proper like boom placement, and that, you know. at first I was just making these movies without a boom, and I didn't realize how important it is to have a good audio.
We can trust the
camera
mic.
Yeah, you can trust the camera mic, and it just sounds like you're in a tunnel underwater or something.
Yeah.
Radio static. But so I learned doing that in my first experience during UNT Media Arts Productions. And then as I continued, I worked on media series, doing behind the scenes footage, doing roles like that, just really expressing my creativity in different ways and forms. But while I'm doing this at the same time, I got my own films and productions going on that I started like sophomore year of college.
Cool.
So
it's nice you're networking so you can find people to help you produce
exactly,
content.
And that too. So it's almost like a double win, right? I'm learning things, I'm meeting new people at the same time, and making them all kind of work together like a song or something.
No, yeah, I love that. And tell me about working with others. Was that sort of was that hard at all? Like sort of like, say you're directing a film. Is it hard to like initially at least? Was it hard to get others to see your vision? Like I want this. Like did that come naturally for you? Was it hard like working with others and conveying your vision and creating something to put on screen?
Yeah, at first it was the most difficult part was just like. Filming, going back when I did home movies, like, when I do, because my family, right, they're not actors, so when you say you got to redo a scene or reshoot, they're like, bro, we already did it, can we just go, like, eat, play video games, and you really got to be, like, convincing, like, come on, just one more time, I just need to do this scene one more time, like, and then they eventually fold in, but, so that was the biggest thing, but obviously now that I'm working with, like, people that are, legitimate actors and stuff, they understand how it all works. So it's almost like it's kind of convenient being able to work with people that are familiar with the craft and know about it and stuff, making it easier.
Yeah, and it sort of makes you raise your game too, so you can meet their level. So
exactly,
it makes everybody better.
It's all creative input. Working on a lot of like UNT class productions. You work with people that you're not connect with really. So it's like it becomes at a moment just like just trying to compromise, make things work, but
which sadly is a part of it. But you get that training.
Yes. So, but as you find out who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with through these things, and really just finding the people that I think you're always going to have to compromise and stuff, or be able to work as a team successfully, right? Being stubborn won't really help anything go forward. So,
I love that. Because why I wanted to mention your graduating, because I've really come to realize at the old age of 26 the importance of like college, because people think it's just like, oh, I'm taking classes and learning. Well, while that is true, it's about networking, meeting people, and knowing what works and what not. So it's good that you're making that with people that you may not necessarily like or whatever, but it teaches you to compromise. Like, okay, well, because it's not always going to be perfect or whatever. It gives you that experience. So I love that.
Yes.
And as far as like your productions. How have the budgets been? Have they just been like random things you've put together? Or have you worked with anything like I can't imagine like $1 million budgets. But have you worked on any like sort of solidly budgeted projects or?
So a lot of the movies, we do pay for equipment and stuff like that. Really, it's me and so when I first started, Little Brother Productions, the media company, whatever, I do movies and put my work on. It was really just me doing everything. Just for the first 2 movies, but. Pretty much during the second movie is when I really had a team, kind of like a core really built.
What year was this?
This was 2020 actually.
2020.
So it was like in the spring, it was an assignment we had to, it was actually we were supposed to work with groups in a group in the class, but COVID happened and you couldn't get the UNT equipment and you just had to do your own thing. So I decided to why not just start a Little Brother Productions now? Because another thing was. Little Brother Productions was the name like for my movies, for my home movies when I did when I was like 12. So I was like, you know what, let me bring it back, because for a minute I just stopped doing home movies and a Little Brother Productions was kind of dead at that moment. So I was like, let me bring it back, because it just brought me back to those times of like just the pure joy and fun and excitement of getting a camera and recording. So I want to bring it back into life, So Donovan's Way was the first movie for Little Brother Productions. Did that by myself. But and my little brother and stuff. But the second movie, Girl of His Dreams, I added 2 core members, George Torres and Conrad Sneed. They became shout out to those 2, shout out to them, they're my boys. So they've been rocking with me since the beginning of 2020 summer.
Nice.
That's when we decided to come together and make this movie. Conrad plays the lead. George was like basically doing everything, helping me on the side. So basically being that assistant, and then basically everything.
Yeah.
So, we decided to bond together, create these movies, and, as we continue making these movies, our bonds get stronger, and it also helps, like, finding those, because before we made movies, we were, like, all, like, good friends. George and Conrad met during the second movie. They didn't know each other, but I knew both of them individually, and, we just clicked. I clicked both of them, like, easily. Oh. So, and then when they came together, they just clicked as well. So it was just almost like, it was just like magical.
It was meant to happen.
Yeah, it was just magical, man. And now that it's just three, just growing, adding more friends and adding more people who's interested in working on these productions and making them come to life. So it's just like, it's just a matter of just connecting and stuff. Yeah.
No, I love that. And cool. So what kind of movies do you want to be making? Like, because you've obviously created quite a few videos, but what sort of, like, what would be like an Emmauel Wilson film, like that you're trying to, like, you want to make like action movies, you want to make dramas, like character dramas?
Yeah.
Like, what are the movies that you want to make that are like uniquely you?
So for the longest, the goal of mine is to make like some very pretentious sci-fi type movie, like I don't know, I guess you could say somewhere on the rounds of it, like Alien or whatever, or just anything like sci-fi, just super like spaceships and stuff like that. Okay. That's always been a goal of mine. But as for right now, and like the point I am in my career, I've been leaning a lot towards dramas, and I guess you could say I don't want to say tragedies, but like a lot of things where just like a lot of people can relate to. It's stuff that just like unfortunate events, or even just really movies that are dependent on character development and the mindset, psychological stuff is another thing that's been kind of reoccurring theme for me and stuff with movies and productions I've worked on for Little Brother Productions.
Okay. And so Little Brother Productions is the name of your YouTube channel?
Yes, as well. So yeah.
I wanted to make sure that was out there so they know. Like, where can we find this little brother?
Yeah, check us out, yeah.
All right, awesome. So I love that. And what are some films or filmmakers you've looked up to?
Oh,
you
man.
mentioned Star Wars,
yes.
But like as you've, grown as a filmmaker, like are you sort of like, because that opens like, oh, now I'm like, discovering new filmmakers I never would have watched. Like, so who now influences you?
Yeah, so like going back, right? So when I was a kid, it was, George Lucas, Star Wars, Steven Spielberg, Indiana Jones and all this stuff, all his, E.T., very fantasy type movies, Jurassic Park. So those two were really like big on me. But as I got older, directors, just like John Singleton's one, Spike Jonze, who did Her, was one of my.
Her is a movie that always makes me cry. Like that soundtrack is amazing.
It's beautiful, dude. It's amazing, man. So those and also just the whole visuals and everything around it, and the character development in it is amazing. But yeah, so John Singleton, Spike Lee is another one that's been influential on me at this point, right, in career. Christopher Nolan, I love his work too, especially with the psychological aspects of it.
Yeah,
just so many Jordan.
Yeah, because it's cool because he makes like blockbusters, but they're pretty like. I'm an idiot, so everything looks intelligent to me. But they're like smart block, like Inception or something like that.
Exactly, and it's all like pretty much practical,
Yeah, it's great. So
as well as Jordan Peele, is another one that I enjoy watching. Ava DuVernay, nice. She did this. I remember watching. I mean, she did a lot of like Netflix specials and stuff. But one of them, When They See Us, a miniseries.
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it's about back in I think Manhattan and New York, these 4 African American boys were accused of assaulting this white woman, and they basically were false imprisoned, and years later were found out to be innocent of it. And in this whole series, she breaks down these characters, and we learn more about them. I wasn't really familiar with the whole situation ordeal, but her directing skills and the way her style is just like. The very last episode is like, it's just deep, man. It's just like, it's heavy. It's a heavy, topic and, story. But I think it's like one of those things that I recommend people should watch for sure. You learn a lot. But a lot of those directors, there's a lot of others I'm not mentioning either. They're just like very influential and I just love their work and stuff.
Yeah, I love to hear like the impact it's made on you. And I'm curious, like, is that something as a filmmaker, you would like to do? Like, is that something you're thinking of, if you're writing a script or developing a film, are you thinking of like how the audience is going to react to it? Or are you sort of just like, I'm focusing on like my project and you're like, whatever happens, like you're just in your world? Or do you think of how people are going to view it? Like if you make a tragedy, like, is this going to make people depressed? Like, I want them to be depressed. Like, is the audience constantly in your head when you're developing a project?
So that's another thing. I always think like, I want to tell a story. A lot of my stories kind of are inspired by where I'm at in my life at this moment in time. A lot of my movies are influenced that way, or just moments. I do get inspired from like other works or movies and stuff, but when it comes to, I try to make sure I have my own style. So I may have these other directors I'm kind of inspired to, or inspired from. I look at their works and see how they do dialogue in their stories and scripts, but I try to add my own flavor and flair to it.
That's great, yeah.
And be unique and original. But I do keep the audience in mind. I want to make sure, like, okay, I'm watching it, like I'm writing this script, and I'm thinking like, okay, will people tune out at this if this dialogue is getting too long, or if I keep going on with this point in the dialogue, should I like chop it out? And that's where another thing, peer review comes really great in hand. Just getting like people I trust and colleagues, and have them read the scripts and stuff like that, and see like, oh, how do you feel about that? And then the very important thing is, as a director, a writer, or whatever, if you're choosing to be that, making sure you don't get too swayed by what audience wants, or what your peers say if you do peer review.
Like there's a solid middle ground, because you don't want to be so stubborn, but at the same time you don't want to be like a pushover. Just like, oh, you don't like it? Okay, I'm gonna like
exactly,
sometimes like, then, just like have faith in yourself.
Exactly.
That'll work.
And then because if you do like, okay, like, oh, you don't like this, let me change it. And it's like every change they're suggesting, you doing it, and it's like, is it your story or theirs? So it's like, exactly. At the end of the day, you just gotta know like what type of story you want. Keep in mind what the peer review and stuff is saying, but just knowing like, what do you want to tell with this movie? I think that's the most important thing, and that's what I try to do with every script I write.
Okay, brilliant. And how have you, man? Okay, I don't even know if this is the right word. Exhibited. Like, when you make a project, like, do you just put on YouTube, or do you like try to premiere it like in a theater for a large crowd?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So usually for the past movies we've done, like it's always been just dropped on YouTube. Not really had a festival premiere. That'd be cool to have in the future. But just
Media Arts Festival, you were there?
Yeah, dude. So Media Arts Festival, that's a great thing, local festival in the Denton area if you are.
Some context. So UNT has a Media Arts Festival, and Emmanuel's film. It was Hurt, correct?
Yes, Hurt. Yeah,
Hurt played in it. It was brilliant. People really dug it. So.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, I just needed to acknowledge that.
Yeah, that was one of the, I guess you could say, because one of the actors, they're both from UNT. The actress who plays Melissa in it, well, she's Samantha Sloan.
Shout out.
Shout out to you, Sammy. But yeah, she went to UNT, and I saw her in a Media Arts production. So it was like a Media Arts short film club thing, and I saw her in there, and I was like, you know what, I want to, that was like the first movie I made that was like, well, I guess you could say the whole cast was UNT, even though there's two people, but that was the first one. I actually went out to reach out to someone that I saw from a UNT related thing, and made it, and she killed the role. So it was shout out to you, Sammy. You killed it.
Yeah,
but and Conrad too. Conrad, you killed it too. Don't worry, I didn't forget you, my guy.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Ooh, man, I can't wait to watch those clips.
So much
I want to ask about. But okay, brilliant. So right now your network is sort of like the UNT crowd.
It's a lot of
gone beyond that at all?
A little bit of Dallas. I like some performers. As far as the like actors and talents, we have had some from like Dallas, some from Arlington, pretty much. But it is still in Texas, of course. Nothing really. No, I haven't had. Yeah. I mean, I have people from Houston, but they go to UNT.
No, but I think pay for like lodging.
Haven't yet. Not yet. I'm sure that's down the road, but not yet. But but for the most part, man, it has been like they're UNT students, or maybe one of my friends, Muhammad Ashraf. He goes to SMU, so he goes to Dallas. So I knew him from a while too. I met him at TCC, and he was into film and stuff. So, but it hasn't been this whole like North Texas region. Nice. Essentially.
And it's cool how like there's some crossover, because it's like this person and that person knows a person. It's like cool. But all right, so what's brewing now for you? Are you working on anything right now?
Like, So the next one actually is a project called Elixir.
Elixir,
yeah. So that one is we finished filming that about, I want to say a month ago. I want to say back in April. Right now it's getting edited. I think it's almost done getting edited. I didn't personally write and direct that one. That was actually Conrad Sneed.
Nice.
He stars in it and he plays the lead. And that's another thing. A Little Brother Productions. I wanted to grow into a major, right? Whereas like directors and creators could come produce projects and stuff like that.
I love that. Like a solid production.
Yeah, like like Paramount or 20th Century and stuff like that. So, but so he wrote this one, and directed it and stuff. Of course, helped out and stuff. Did what I need to do, like if audio, did that, or helped him write scripts, give him advice and stuff. So it was so that Elixir basically is a story that kind of he drew inspiration from his own experiences, deals with like heartbreaks and just trying to find yourself really essentially. Yeah. So that one should be coming out. I want to say maybe later this month, maybe early June. But yeah, that one's fun, man, and I'm excited for everyone to see it.
Bro, audience is already hyped. They're like, Elixir. First off, they're probably like, how do you spell that?
Yeah, no, dude, I remember when he pitched the name, I was like, what does Elixir mean? It's like it's like excess of stuff. So I was like, that's sick. Nice. Like having an excess. So I'm like, and the whole point of the movie is about love. So it's like you could say excess of love and having too much of it and stuff like that, and stuff like that. But yeah, Elixir. I just thought the name was cool. Yeah. When he pitched it, I was like, dang.
It's ear catching.
It sounds it's like I can see that. I can rock an Elixir hat or something, or some type of merch.
Awesome. Well, that was a really great interview. I think I feel closer to you than I did before. Oh yeah, some context me and you met in our interviewing class this semester, so I'm very thankful for that. Mm-hmm. I hope we can work on
absolutely, dude. We definitely got to collab. I'm down for it.
Heck yeah, dude. And all right, well, thank you so much for that. I think the audience is gonna feel like so much closer to you. I know they're hyped. They're like, "Yo, Little Brother Productions." But okay, that was great. Are you ready to recommend some stuff to the audience now?
Yeah, let's get it, man.
All right, bam. Let's get our amazing prestige pieces of paper out. Awesome. Off toward. All cheap. Okay, cool. So now, audience of Conversations with Aaron. Hello. Myself and Emmanuel are now going to recommend some stuff to y'all that, hopefully you guys like. If not, well, too bad. Okay, and so it'll go 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6.
Yeah.
With each week, I'm getting smoother at saying
that. Yeah.
But, alrighty, cool. So, and it's, in contrast to previous weeks, I was recommending nothing but songs. Now this week, it's nothing but films. So, hey. All right. So the first thing I want to recommend, I'm kind of cheating. It's two of my favorite films from one of my favorite filmmakers, Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma is a very interesting figure in that it's sort of a tale of two people, because you hear about like his more mainstream movies like Mission Impossible, Scarface, and it's like, oh, you think that's kind of like what his films are, but then there's a whole other side towards him that's a lot more sort of like politically like charged and whatnot and whatever. So these two films, I think I'm breaking them down between what I consider to be a great Brian De Palma film, i.e. something that's more of his style, and then just a great film by Brian De Palma, meaning something a little more mainstream that I think everybody could kind of like. So the first of those two is Blowout from 1981, starring John Travolta and Nancy Allen. Super nihilistic, so if you're not into downbeat movies, don't watch it. But oh my gosh, like just the fusion of like his talents as a scriptwriter and as a director, I think sort of peaked at this point. I mean, I feel like it's probably his masterpiece in terms of like what he brings to film. Love it. Just if you're a filmmaker, it's kind of about films in a way. It's just a thrilling, amazing film. Check it out if you feel like it. And the other movie that if Blowout is his masterpiece, this is sort of just my personal favorite. It's Carlito's Way. Everybody talks about Scarface, which is a great film too, but Carlito's Way, oh my gosh, it's so great. The fact that the finale of this film isn't talked about as much as like the infamous chainsaw scene in Scarface is a huge disgrace. The finale, Emmanuel, you have to watch Carlito's Way.
I've watched it actually because I do like Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
I saw Scarface and I was like, man, I want to see more of his work. Carlito's Way. I saw it a long time ago, and I remember like without spoiling, right, the opening scene. Mm-hmm. I saw behind the scenes. He's on that stretcher or whatever.
Yeah.
And like somehow he just stops in something, and it's just like that's where the movie takes place at that moment where he just stops.
Yeah, it's like life flash.
Yes, exactly. Now that's what they said in the behind the scenes. I'm trying to remember the ending.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's just.
I'm gonna maybe have to check it out again.
Yeah,
but I did love it.
It's sort of a chase scene that's on foot, but like the Steadicam work is amazing, and it's you always hear about long takes. It's like Brian De Palma next to like Hitchcock and Orson Welles was a king of long takes. Like the finale is just breathtaking. I know what's gonna happen, but it still just like gets me every time I watch it. Yeah. If you're a filmmaker, check out Blow Out in Carlito's Way. You're not gonna regret it. So, but yes, that was still one recommendation from me. All right, now Emmanuel.
Yeah, those movies. Yeah, Brian De Palma's awesome, man. So actually, this one I'm gonna start off with I guess my brother, like I mentioned, my older brother Alphonse. So he has a band called Panoramic Duo with his friend from high school. I'd recommend. They do pop, synthwave type music. Local artists in the area. I actually have done a few of their music videos, actually. Nice. Their last one they did, Dance Like Nobody's Watching. I was working camera on that one. And then they have a new one for another song that's coming out soon. So, and they got more coming. So it's just like, we be working together and stuff like that. So, there's a pop band, my brother, shouting them out.
Man, you have a talented family.
Yeah. like the Jackson 5, man. I'm feeling it. But, definitely check them out.
And that's a Panoramic Duo?
Panoramic Duo. Yeah, they got, the pretty wholesome band, whatever. You can play at a band or whatever birthday parties, stuff like that. family friendly. So shout out them.
Hey, check him out. Thank you so much for that. I want to check him out.
Oh, for sure.
Just your one recommendation is like my whole family. Like that's the whole
my whole family. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Check that out. And the second film recommendation I want to make is The Last Picture Show from I think 1971, directed by Peter Bogdanovich, starring Timothy Bottom, Sybil Shepherd, Jeff Bridges, among others. Really great film. It took me by surprise when I first saw it a couple of years back because of how just modern it feels even, 50 years later. It's just such a great depiction of, I think, like small town life and just, again, the frankness of like things like sex and sort of not violence, but just like character drama, between teenagers and whatnot, I think is perfectly depicted or whatever. I know sometimes like those are a touchy something like like having like sex or just like people like character interaction, like unlikable characters, but its depiction of it I think is just so true to life and just so realistic and relatable. And check out Last Picture Show. It's I think truly one of the greatest films of all time that's popular, but also I feel like it goes under the radar because people hear the name and they think it's just like some Last Picture Show. That sounds like a crappy movie. It's not, though, I promise. Perfect.
Yes, so I mentioned it earlier, Her by Spike Jonze, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. I mean, yeah, she plays her. So that movie, I don't know, man. You just have those movies you could just watch over and over and stuff. And low-key, so I watched Her. Actually, I watched it. It's on Netflix. I watched it earlier this month, and it just was so inspirational. And I was just thinking of ideas and stuff about future projects that could kind of like be inspired from that, but that's still a work in progress. But Her, it just follows basically Joaquin Phoenix plays a lonely man who's just looking for connection. I feel like a lot of people at the end of the day, just looking for something to connect with, rather whatever it be, and it happened in the movie is just an iOS system. So Her, I recommend that movie. Great character development. The dialogue is amazing. I believe it won Best Screenplay.
Best
screenplay in the Academy Awards. It was a tough running for Oscar. I think, what year was it? 2015 or 14?
2013.
2013. Yeah. They had, I forgot what movies was Best Picture, but it had some good ones. But
Yeah, I think that may have been 12 Years a Slave, probably.
Yeah, I think 12 Years a Slave, which is another great movie. Very deep and has a message or whatever. But and a great cast too. So Her, I recommend that movie. It's one of those on my top of my list.
Yeah, it's a great film. And as I get older, I'm like, no, now I'm relating to this film.
But every year, man, I find myself connecting to it more and more.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Emmanuel. The next film I want to recommend, the third film I want to recommend is, we mentioned Spike Lee earlier. Just a tale of Spike, so they got Spike the Dog, Spike Jones, Spike Lee. But 25th Hour by Spike Lee, starring Edward Norton, Barry Pepper, the late, great Philip Seymour Hoffman, Rosario Dawson. I love Spike Lee. I know he's, I guess, somewhat polarizing, but in terms of just like pure filmmaking, I mean, he's definitely one of my favorites. He's always been so inspirational to me. 25th Hour, I think, is probably like definitely, maybe like my second favorite. I think Mo Better Blues might be my favorite, but 25th Hour I really wanted to recommend just because I think his direction and the story itself, combined with like the performance of Edward Norton, I think it's just great, and just everything about it. It's emotional, but in a way that's like indirect and all this. And I don't know, I'm rambling. I don't do this movie justice, but 25th Hour, it's just fantastic. And again, all these films, like if you're a filmmaker, just check these out. And maybe you don't like the plot or the story or whatever, but look at the filmmaking. Like the actual filmmaking, I think, is what really sets these films apart, because nowadays, everything's, I'm not saying it's like bad, but like, if you go to the theater, you're not necessarily seeing like the 25th Hour, like these like great prestige films. They're just like very big budgeted, shot just like all digitally. So there's sometimes like not artistry, but these films, specifically with like 25th Hour, like you watching, you're like, I'm watching a filmmaker's film right here. Like Spike Lee is a filmmaker, he's an artist. And when I'm just gonna stop talking. Check out 25th Hour, yo.
Yeah, dude. Okay, so yeah, Spike Lee, he's definitely makes those movies that make you think. So next one of mine is a TV show, Freaks and Geeks. Only had one season. The lead actress, I'm probably gonna butcher her name, Linda Cardellini, I think. Yeah, Linda Cardellini.
That way, if I butchered it, they'll get mad at me.
Thank you. I took that. You take the fall for me. Thank you, bro. But yeah, dude, she did Scooby-Doo. Everyone probably remember her for Scooby-Doo. She was in there playing the lead. I guess you could say. I guess she was kind of like the lead character girl who's basically trying to find herself between this crowd of losers and preppy characters or whatever. They have a lot of characters in there. It's just basically a high school kind of drama show. And I just wish there was more to it to watch to it. But it only had one season. I think you watch it on Pluto. Last time I checked, Pluto TV for free. So yeah, I recommend that to everyone to check out.
It's a good show, and the cool thing about that is like how many. In addition to her, it's like
they have so many
James
stars.
Franco,
James Franco, Seth Rogen,
John Francis Daly,
Jason Segel in there too. Yeah. So it's just like it's crazy how they see them young in this star-studded cast. And
it's funny how Seth Rogen looks the exact same. I'm like, bro, he just always looked like a 30-year-old.
I know, dude. Oh man, yeah, it's a great cast too, and I enjoy this show. It's fun. Definitely recommend it.
Heck yeah! And the next film, I'm gonna have to. I'll recommend this. The one I have on my list, I'll do that some other time. We mentioned John Singleton, so I'm gonna have to recommend Baby Boy, my personal favorite film by him. I really like Four Brothers too. I love Boys in the Hood, but I'm gonna do Baby Boy, which longtime viewers of Conversations with Aaron may remember me recommending on the pilot episode of this, but I want to recommend it again because I just really love it. It's sort of has like great drama. It's hilarious at times. It's just Tyrese Gibson, I think, gives a really great performance. Everybody all across the board, Ving Rhames gives one of my favorite performances as I forget his name, but like the mom's boyfriend. He's just such a great character, and
I think it's something rhymes. I forgot his name.
Yeah, I know what
you're talking about. I've seen that movie.
Yeah, but it's just so great. And what I loved about John Singleton, rest in peace, was definitely like the first filmmaker I kind of like recognized. I'm like, oh, that's John Singleton. I know him. Just what he did, like with his writing and his direction, was like when you watched it, he didn't follow any like plot conventions or stereotypical characters. His characters weren't always likable, which sometimes you have to feel like, oh, we need to make everything so likable. He just he told a story. Tyrese Gibson's very unlikable in this movie, but you see him grow, and like we were talking about character development and whatnot, and just everything about it. I think it's such a kind of a beautiful film, like where it leads to. It's just so great. And I always laugh like when I tell people I love Snoop Dogg's performance in this as like the villain, Rodney. Yeah, because Tyrese Gibson's Jody, and then Snoop Dogg is Rodney, and just he's so horrible. He's such a bad person, but that's what John Singleton does. He could like bring people you don't necessarily think would, like be like so talented or whatever, but he was able to do that with his work. And Baby Boy, I think is probably his best film, and I mean it's my favorite, but just check it out. And if you feel like it, just check out his whole filmography.
Man,
such a great filmmaker. Definitely gone too soon.
Yeah, dude. And to piggyback, dude, I know I get crap for it a lot, but Boys in the Hood is definitely one of my favorite movies by Spike Jonze. Or not, I mean, did I say? I meant to say John Singleton.
Another one of those movies that like the cast is so Cuba Gooding Jr., Ice Cube, like
man.
Morris Chestnut, like Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, and even like more than just the characters. And in the movie, he just did really just telling his life. And that's another trick or tip like a lot of directors tell filmmakers that starting off, just write what you know rather than trying to be something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that movie did like just for that movie being what it is, it was able to get so much like recognition. So it was just like I don't know, it did successful at like film festivals.
Youngest dude, I think
yes,
that would be nominated for like an Oscar.
Yeah,
like
first African American and like youngest director to ever get like nominated for best directing. So that movie's like I don't know. I just other than the story, I think that makes it more valuable to me as well. So I definitely will have to second your recommendation for that.
You gotta check out like Baby Boy and Boys in the Hood now. Do you like you?
But yeah, so my next one would be Tick Tick Boom by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Directing that was his directorial debut, basically starring Andrew Garfield. It's a newer movie that came out, I want to say last summer. Musical. I know a lot of people may not be into musicals, but it follows. Basically, I just think it has a beauty to it because it's about this guy who's struggling trying to become a musician, Jonathan Larson, based off the late great Jonathan Larson who passed away at a very young age. He created Rent, these plays, and kind of like help change the way musicals are done. So Netflix is available to watch. You see Andrew Garfield play this character who has so much ideas and just kind of broke, And I think a lot of people a lot of people that's filmmakers can relate to it, just having big goals and just like even failing sometimes and feeling like it's all over and just continuing to push. So it's a great inspirational movie.
Andrew Garfield, like say less.
Yeah, man. Andrew Garfield, man, he was balling in 2021.
Oh yeah. So Tick Tick Boom, right?
Yeah, Tick Tick Boom.
All right, thank you so much for that. Great. Next film I want to recommend, the fifth film I want to recommend is Magic from 1978, starring Anthony Hopkins, Burgess Meredith, and Anne Margaret, directed by Richard Attenborough, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise known as the old man from Jurassic Park. Everybody knows him from that. But Magic is one of my favorite horror movies, although I think if you go into it thinking it's going to be a straight horror movie, you might be disappointed because it's definitely more of a drama, like a psychological drama, and it's so well made and well crafted and whatnot. And it's so Anthony Hopkins is this troubled ventriloquist, who has like all this stuff. He has a ventriloquist dummy, and as someone who is mortified by ventriloquist dummies, I had to watch this movie when I saw the log line. I was like, ventriloquist dummies, let me check it out. But it's so well made, so crafted, and it's just people, I assume filmmakers watching this are aware of like that, the new Hollywood in the 70s, like Scorsese, Spielberg, and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or just the 70s in general, like how brilliant those filmmakers were at their craft. Magic, this horror movie about a ventriloquist dummy, you're like, oh, that kind of sounds, it could definitely be like a second or third rate like B movie. But when you watch it, how well it's made, how well it's crafted. It was the first film I remember watching and seeing what a cross-cutting was, or intercutting, like that technique, like when you're editing. Yeah. It was so great. And Anthony Hopkins, I've grown to appreciate his performance a lot more. I'd say the script, maybe it's one of those films I wish I could personally remake so I could tweak a few things.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's such a great tragic film, and check out Magic. Check out the trailer too for it. Apparently, word on the street was like a trailer used to play like on television, and it was so scary, like it was terrifying kids that parents were calling the TV stations, and it was pulled, like the ad was pulled from television.
Oh my goodness.
Apparently, so that's sort of a little fun fact about that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so Magic.
Okay. Yeah, so this one will be I guess you could say, a single. So just a song, individual song. It's called Inside Out by Luke Christopher. It's a bit of a kind of like electric pop type of feel to it. I like a lot of Luke Christopher's music. He does rap and stuff like that. Just a nice bop song. Something you just play and like you could vibe to or whatever. Do a little slide, some slight dance. But I enjoy the song. I recommend people check him out. Luke Christopher does pretty cool music too, so definitely look him up.
All right, check it out, dude. I love always looking for new music or whatever. But all right, so now we're down to the last recommendations. So the last film I want to recommend, the sixth film I want to recommend, is a Kajillionaire from, pretty sure it was 2020. Yeah, it was. I think it came out during the pandemic. I watched it, and it's just it's. I mean, when you see the trailer and when you hear it, you think it's gonna be like this big, elaborate, like maybe like heist movie or something about this family of like burglars. But when you watch it, it's so much more intimate and like sort of small scale. But the emotion and humor of it like makes it feel so much bigger. And it's just one of those like I guess comfort films. I feel like I can just like always watch. I believe it's directed by Miranda July. I know she's had like some previous films, but Kajillionaire is the only one I've seen, and it's starring Evan Rachel Wood, Richard Jenkins, and Deborah Winger. I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. Man, as the host, I really should have done my research.
No, you're good, man.
But yeah, just such a great film, and it's like I said, so just small scale, and I don't know, something about it. I guess maybe I saw it at the right time because it was during the pandemic, and I was just craving something that would give me some like spectacle or something like that. And I remember I actually went out to the theaters to watch it.
There you go.
And had the mask and everything.
There you go.
Like
yeah,
social
right.
distance. I was like the only one in the theater. But it was so great, and I'm really glad. I feel like it came into my life at the right time, and hopefully it comes into your life at the right time. And hopefully you dig it too.
Oh, smooth, man.
Hey.
You hit it. I guess for my last one is actually the album. I remember listening to this like senior year of high school, man. It was just it's called Geography by Tom Misch. Tom Misch. So I'm a big fan of I like jazz, and I like so the way his music is, a lot of it's the same. It's like jazz, but it's almost like pop at the same time. So it's influenced, like it's like it combines together. The whole album is just. It's a mix of different type of rhythms and flows and lyrics and stuff, but the best way I could describe it is super mellow and just a whole vibe, and just you could play it like at a picnic, you're just chilling outside, cleaning, relaxing, driving on the street. So Tom Misch Geography album, highly recommend.
Hey, check it out. And like I said last episode with Michael, it's like if I recommend something, 50, you don't have to listen. But if my guest recommends something, boy, you better check it out.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for those recommendations, Emmanuel. They're really great. The audience is going to love every single one of them. They better. But all right, you ready to check out your work now?
Oh, yeah.
Break down some of your clips?
Let's get down to it, man.
All right, awesome. Stick around, y'all. That's coming up shortly. And by shortly, I mean like a couple of seconds. Perfect.
Awesome.
Cool. And we're back. Thank you so much. All right, we're still here. We're still here with Emmauel Wilson. I cannot talk. Goodness gracious. Thank you so much. Are you ready to look at some of your clips now?
Yeah, let's get to it, man.
All right, great. So I believe the first one is Hurt. Do you want to tell the audience a little bit about what we're going to be watching?
Yeah, so just to give a brief little snippet of it, so this movie basically follows a couple on the brinks of, just brinks of disaster. So at this point, we're going to watch the very climatic moment of the short film where the girlfriend is Melissa, played by the talented Samantha Sloan, basically is at her breaking point. So let's take a look.
All right, Ben, go on.
He just started working at the firm I'm at. I went over there to have a couple drinks, play a few video games.
Not gonna check your phone, Derek.
So how are you gonna accuse me of cheating?
I didn't accuse you of anything.
Okay, but you implied it.
Derek, you've been distant. Okay, you haven't said I love you or touched me in months.
You can't be serious. Melissa, I've been working long-ass shifts. All right, I'm tired.
What? God, Derek, it does not take a lot of energy to tell me that you love me. Derek, I put my life on hold for you. Okay, I took you in when no one else would. God, I helped you fill out job application after job application, and I believed in you when no one else did. God, I cooked dinner for your ungrateful ass every night. Please, just tell me the truth. Okay, please, just tell me. Derek, where were you?
Okay. I'll tell you where I was.
And it stops right there. The audience is like, wait, what is he gonna say? All right, that's brilliant. So much I want to ask about. So first off, you wrote and directed, or
Yes,
just
so that one I wrote, directed, did that beginning, in the spring of last year.
did? Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of found inspiration from Malcolm and Marie, the film starring Zendaya and John David Washington.
By what's his name?
I'm going blank. Sam Levy.
Yeah, Sam
Levy. So he's known for basically doing everything HBO related.
Yeah, Euphoria.
Euphoria, A24 as well. So it's like anything in those two fields, you could expect him to be a part of it. But yeah, so that one I drew inspiration from Malcolm and Marie, and basically just the couples kind of going back and forth between each other and just having bad blood.
Yeah, so some things about that. So first off, obviously it's a drama. It's a couple drama, and how did you get the actors prepared for that? Like, I mean, it's pretty heavy, and I mean, dang, remind me the actress's name. I mean, I know Conrad. But
yeah, Samantha Sloan.
Samantha. I mean, like, how was that? Like, mostly her, like, just being a trained actor. Like, how did y'all get to like that level? Man.
So a good thing about both of them is they're very skilled and very talented. So. We didn't really have much rehearsal. We really just we had a table read, and that was pretty much it. But of course, we went through lines, and Samantha's known for being able to do those type of characters that's emotional and could get very passionate. And Conrad, I basically been casting him as the bad guy.
I got this new role for you. You're gonna be this
even
horrible
worse. Every character is worse than the last. That's my goal for Conrad. I'm just kidding. But basically, yeah. So I knew what Conrad was capable of. And I knew he would be able to fulfill a character such as Derek, who's very manipulative and kind of, I guess you could say gaslights. Good. So a gaslighter. But so when they came together, it was like peanut butter and jelly. They got along. They're great friends in real life, so they don't hate each other. In case people was wondering.
Nice. And how long did that take y'all to film? How many over? Like, it was a couple of days, or?
Yeah, we actually. So ideally, I was thinking 2 days to shoot it, but sometimes we got in the flow, and I was like, you know what? I think we could pump it out in 1 day. So it took about, I want to say 6 hours.
6 hours, nice.
We started at, I want to say around 7 or 6 and ended 1:30 in the morning, around 2.
Yeah, nice.
So, once we got started, we were just like flowing, had a 1 camera set up, so just had to do their coverages, so.
And how many, what was the crew size?
The crew is actually really small.
Yeah,
it was me.
I bet, yeah.
It was literally me and George Torres, who I mentioned earlier, was we make movies and stuff, and part of the whole, I guess, nucleus of A Little Brother production. So he was doing the audio for me on this project, and I was on the camera, and it was them two. So literally 4 people, and I edited later. So it was very small. Very small.
Last, I want to ask about like the cinematography. Like, did y'all storyboard it, or was it sort of on the spot? Like, okay, I want to, I want a 2-shot. I want to over the shoulder.
Yeah. So I try to storyboard a lot. A lot of times I do notice sometimes you get on set and kind of flip around. I would say I think. Out of all the movies I storyboarded, Hurt is the most accurate to its actual storyboard. Other ones are kind of like, you think of when you storyboard, I do it early, and then I actually get a location. I'm like, oh wait, this doesn't match my storyboard.
Yeah.
Gotta figure out something. You really scratch. But Hurt, I mean, I knew from the jump I was gonna film it in a dining room area at my house, make it like a dining room. So it's gonna be basically those 2 coverages, and they're the main or whatever. So and then of course on set, you may get new ideas. So maybe like, I guess, put it at an angle or have a shot where it's like a slow zoom. I kind of did imagine doing that in a storyboard. I just didn't know how I was going to have to do manual. I just did it in post.
So like some arrows on.
Yeah, exactly. I had arrows. So that was scene I definitely wanted just a slow zoom on her. So, but yeah, dude, it was storyboarding and stuff like that. But I think it came out how I wanted it to come.
Yeah, I think so too. And the last question about it, what equipment did you use?
So yeah, it was actually Conrad's camera. It was a Canon. I'm forgetting which one it was, but I feel like it was a part of the EOS.
EOS, okay.
One of those, but I think it had a fixed lens, so really you couldn't really detach the lens. But we used his one. He got that like a few months early before that, so we used it to film with that one.
Good, nice. Yeah. Awesome. So Hurt, and it's available.
It's available to watch on YouTube. Yeah, A Little Brother Productions. Yeah. Little Brother Productions, Hurt is there to watch, so check it out.
Check it out. Watch the rest of this episode and then check it out.
Yes, of
along
course,
with these other
of course.
films. All right, well, thank you so much for that. Are you ready to check out the second
Let's
clip
check it
now?
out, yeah, man.
All right, let's get that second clip ready. We'll check that out. And actually, before we do you want to tell us a
Yes,
little
let
bit
me give it a
about
little, it's a little snippet. So,
Ooh, almost forgot that.
oh, of course, no, that's no worries. Yeah, so basically, Restless, I did this this is actually for a class assignment, directing narrative media assignment. So this one kind of drew inspiration from just the idea of like, I was influenced by Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese, and then Flight by Robert Zemeckis. Those two movies, a character in Flight, a character struggles with alcohol addiction, and then in Taxi Driver, it's basically this, noir type of, character breakdown of a, story where we follow Robert De Niro's character as he is involved in this city that is just like corrupt and impacting him in multiple ways.
Yeah.
So those two kind of influence it, and this scene is where I guess again is where the character is at his lowest of lows, and then remembering his past mistakes.
Good, nice. All right, let's go in and check out a clip from it then.
Where the hell you been?
I told you I was gonna run errands with my sister all day.
Bullshit. It's almost 2 a.m. What hours take that long?
Like you're really excited.
Yeah. So the climax. Yeah. So that was from Restless.
Nice. I want to ask about it because I mean, aside from that ending tidbit, it was like just silent. But I feel like the audience can watch it, like they kind of understand everything. Like he's distraught.
Yeah.
They have a sort of tepid relationship, or not tepid, but like a sort of rocky relationship. Like that great, like not tracking, but just like following her, like, just looking at what discussed. So I want to ask about, well, I guess first off, like about storyboarding, because again, that was like pure just like shots or whatever. There wasn't any like dialogue. So was that close to your original vision, or was it like...
that one I did have imagined. I wanted to be kind of rocky, at least the camera, because in this scene it's like a flashback. He's remembering the whole movie. He's struggling with like not relapsing in alcohol because he's lost so much that relationship. So he remembers this moment, the last time, he was drunk essentially, and then in the movie it follows just alcoholic abuse and domestic abuse and stuff like that, domestic violence. So that was the last memory he has with his former girlfriend, who's played by Sierra Collins. So Collins, so I appreciate you. But she was a UNT actress. But so basically he's Conrad is he's having this flashback of like him the last moment with the character, and just drunk. She's tired of him being a bum basically on the couch and stuff. And, he's just hostile and aggressive and stuff. So he's just remembering these low moments. And, as far as the storyboard, it was just a matter of getting the shot. I wanted to be rocky, so we had the shoulder rig, kind of like, had the moment feel intense.
Yeah, and I love it too. I assume it's your intention because he's kind of drunk. So like that, you're walking like handheld, or so I guess the shoulder rig, and it felt. And I just love watching it again because the audience can watch that and you get a sense for it, you know, like, dare I say it's cinema. 'Cause,
Yes.
you know, it's like,
Yes.
it's just like, you know, you're doing like stuff like visually to like get your point across. I think it's great. And so I want to ask, like, you know, the locations. So what are those, just like a friend's house or like?
Yeah, so the first one, so in the in the room when he's by himself is basically this hotel set up, our hotel room. And then that one is a friend's house where he's the flashback.
Oh, nice.
So you know had a friend, shout out Jacob Eves. He was nice enough to let us film in there to do the whole climactic moment of the scene. But basically the whole movie takes place at those two locations, at the hotel and then at this my friend's apartment. So the hotel was kind of, it was a tough place to find, but I finally got someone that would let us film in there and stuff.
Nice.
So yeah, so it was finding the right spot or whatever.
And was that just a matter of you like calling?
Yeah, I had to call, got a lot of no's. Got a lot of no's, got a lot of no's, but you know, I finally stumbled on one that was down and allowed us to go in there or whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, that was awesome. But and then the the apartment, it was pretty much just like, hey bro, you mind if I just film here? He's like, yeah, I don't care.
give me some Whataburger first.
There you go. I found he actually cooked breakfast for us.
Damn, man,
So not only
catering people.
not only did he like let us film there, he made us like eggs and.
I hope he credited him in the.
Yo, yes, like, give him a special thanks for sure because he was basically serving catering.
I'm saying, like,
so shout out Jacob, appreciate you, man. You're awesome. But he cooked breakfast for us, let us film there. But yeah, man, the locations was a little bit scary for the hotel, but not for the apartment at all.
Yeah, and well, I guess a quick question. So, was that just like a house y'all had?
Yeah, that was actually my house where I lived.
Okay, great. And see, like, that's the great thing. Like, I mean, already seeing progress in your work. Like, you know, first one was like, all right, use this house, but then the other, like, now this one, like, oh wait, I need to get a location. So you're calling, so you're learning and you're growing as a filmmaker, and it's great to see that. And I want to really ask about the editing because, you know, I'm a director, but I love editing. That's my bread and butter.
So the documentary you did in the media arts.
Oh yeah, thank you.
That was clean.
Said the people.
Said the people.
Hey,
they won best doc.
Shout out to them. Yeah, and but I want to ask about that. Like, what did you use to edit first off?
Yeah, so actually this one I just used Premiere. With her was the first time I edited on Premiere because before I was doing iMovie, but I realized like you're so limited with iMovie. So I started using Premiere, and you know, with the good thing about Restless was the camera we used was like
was it the same as the previous one?
Yeah, it was a Blackmagic Mini Ursa.
Ooh,
so in the
nice.
class we were kind of like issued you could use this one, and there was another camera you could use, but most people just use the Mini Ursa, and I just loved the Blackmagic. It was just like, I feel like everything about it just felt so cinematic, and
heck yeah,
even the color grading was super.
Proof is in the pudding, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like I barely low-key color graded. Knowing now, I probably would have did a little more color grading, but it pretty much was like by itself. You know, you film it, and even the raw stuff wasn't too off. So yeah, Blackmagic Mini Ursas are amazing.
And so again, this is me kind of getting nerdy. You know, we'll see how the audience responds to this. Maybe I'll get even nerdier in future episodes. But with regards to the editing, like how, you know, because again, a lot of it's silent and whatnot. How did you come to like get the pacing to the way it felt? Because it felt like every cut was like perfect. No shot felt like it lingered. You know, no shot felt like it was abruptly cut. Like, is that something you just like feel when you're editing?
Yeah.
Or like, did you go through like rough cuts or?
Oh, I had multiple rough cuts. Another thing with me, I had some amazing. That was the first movie I had like originally scored by my boys, Jack Higgum and Harrison Eastham. Shout out to them. Those are my dogs. You know, I want to have them score every movie I write.
Yeah,
you know,
the score was really great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, dude, they kill it, man, and they score another one of my movies, Marlowe. So yeah, they did the score, and a big thing with me when it comes to editing, I have to be on cue with the music. Like the music has to like, it kind of inspires me.
So so you had the film and then the rough cut, they scored it, and then or did they already have the music and you just edited to the music?
Yeah. So I did a rough cut, just basically general ideas of how I envisioned it. I listened to like songs that were similar to the ones I wanted, and kind of edited to that. And then when I sent them the rough cut, they sent me some tracks, and I was just like, that boy's snapping out here. So I just said, you know what? I redid it and got it again. They scored it again, make sure it was proper length, make sure everything's right. So yeah, they killed it. Jack Hickam, Harrison Eastham, love those boys. But
Awesome.
yeah. So but yeah, music is very, so I have to listen to music even if I don't have the score yet. I listen to some type of music that kind of match the vibe I'm looking for.
Okay.
And kind of do that.
And I think it goes, because when we listen to music, it can kind of be emotional, or and obviously this is very emotional, so it's good that I think that, or not good, but I think that was a good decision to edit to that, because it definitely comes across on screen. Well, thank you so much for that. It was really great, and I can't wait to see it. Wait to see it. So all these are available on YouTube.
Yes,
correct?
so all of them under Little Brother Productions. That one's Restless. So yeah, be able to watch.
Love it. Awesome. Well, check that out. Be sure to do that. I know they're
Typing
making
already.
a playlist or whatever. All right,
Watch
so
later.
we're down to the last clip now. You want to go and
Yeah.
and it's called Marlowe.
Yeah.
Correct?
So Marlowe, this one basically was really inspired from the movie that won Best Picture, Nomadland, in I think 2020,
Oh, yeah.
in the year where movies was it 20 or 21? I think it was 2020. Was it?
Yeah, I think it won it in 2021.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. So, but yeah,
It won Best Picture, but basically it follows Frances McDormand, I think.
McDormand.
Dick Dorman, yeah. She plays a character who basically has to live in her van and moving around and not really having a home. So I really drew inspiration from that, and as well as Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, a movie that's a bit older with starring Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock, about a young young boy who's trying to find clues about his father who died in like 9/11, and he left him behind something. The 9/11 crashes. So I added those together about a girl who who finally gets letters from her biological mother. She's adopted. And she decides to go on an adventure to find her. And so the character, the main actress is Annalise. She plays Marlowe. And in the clip we're about to watch, we're going to see her embarking on her first journey to meet her real mom.
Yo, if I was hyped before, it's reached its. All right, let's check out a clip from Marlowe.
Let's check it out.
Golly, I have to take a moment just to look at the blank screen. I was like, okay, so many questions, and again, the audience can kind of they can see without a doubt just the growth or whatever. It's just so great, and so many things I want to ask.
Yeah.
First off, why widescreen?
So yeah, widescreen. I wanted to always play around with the 21:9 aspect ratio. I talked to family, friends about it. I wanted to feel like a movie, right? So plus, so it was I wanted to make it feel super big. So this girl is going into this big world that she don't really know that well. She's going on an adventure on her own. So I really thought widescreen would really elevate the story. And
because it's about the sort of landscape that she's in. So
to make her feel like just. Yeah, and I love black bars, so I always wanted to try it.
Yeah.
So it did just some research on it and just added it in. And,
Nice. I want to ask about that tracking shot. Was that on a gimbal? Or
so
how did
yeah,
y'all get that?
I think this actually. So before this, we did another movie, Reverie, where we first used the gimbal, and so this one we believe is it was the Ronin one. The Ronin, I forget which series it is, but we use the Ronin gimbal for the Canon 90D camera we use for it. And I just love it because it gives you nice flowing and stuff like that. The camera is beautiful too. So these two they just added to each other like peanut butter and jelly.
Nice. And what was what was the crew on it? Because I mean, it looks pretty damn awesome. Like I mean,
it was pretty big. It was me, George, James Kang was on there, who was a DP for Restless, so he came and helped. Bryson Turner. So it was about a handful of people that came in, and the cast itself was pretty big too. So I think me personally, it was like, as far as the director, like the biggest one I've written and produced and stuff.
How was that for you? Like the bigness of it?
Yeah, it was a little bit. Yeah,
it was intimidating.
It was a little stressful, man. I was a little bit like, for times I was like, oh, I wonder if it's gonna work, if it's gonna crash on his face, like crash into a nosedive. But it takes a lot of like just calming down, taking it step by step, taking each day, and as well being like aware of the future, trying to plan out, but taking each day by a step and staying relaxed, I think.
Gotcha. And so the music too, really.
Oh, yes.
Is it the same composers?
Yeah, so Jack Hickam, Harrison Eastham, that did the music for it, and with this one, it's not as dark or sad as the other ones. It was Hurt and Restless. It's a little more heavier. That was another thing I want to do. I want to make something that's a little bit outside my box.
Yeah. So the next film, it's gonna be even like so dark.
It's you can start crying. Start crying. But so that one, they did the music for it, and they just balled out, man. And I just love their like the way they could like switch it up and just do multiple like themes and genres of music. And with this one, I wanted them to do more like a country back row type of like guitar driven one, where it's more a little uplifting and happy.
Nice. And so again, like talking about your growth and whatnot, what about this was sort of like different from the other films? Like the locations, where was that?
There was much more locations. So some of them were some apartments. One was my house, one was some apartments, and a lot of them was outside exterior locations. One was a restaurant too in the movie that we used, a little cafe. So it's almost like I'm taking steps, getting more locations in different areas. They have one that was over by the, I think it's Lake Eureka. They have this pond, and I feel like it's like where every UNT filmmaker goes, because it's like this big pond over by this lakefront or whatever. Man, I think it's Lake Eureka or something like that.
Okay, nice. And just question about like, so like your coverage and whatnot, and like how all those like they take a couple of takes to get it, like those, because like a lot of it's just, like these brilliant shots, like these silent, no dialogue. Like, is it like a quick little, we're just gonna get the shot real fast, bam, or did those take some time to like set up and execute?
So a lot of the B-roll, I'm not gonna lie to you, was kind of like just going out to this area that I liked and have Annalise, who plays Marlo in the movie, walk around and basically just have the camera recording her do stuff. So the last shot where she looks up at the dog, it was just literally coincidence.
Yeah.
So it's just like she's walking, and then I see her look up. I'm like, what's she looking at? And then I look up and I was like, oh, the dog's looking at us.
Hey, yo, get that dog.
Yeah, so I get the dog, and then I get her smiling, and it was just like, I was like, oh, this is beautiful. So that wasn't really planned at all. It was more just like what was going on in the environment, and just really mainly just getting her walking and trying to get these cool B-roll shots of like flowers, it being kind of like leaves turning colors, like symbolizing change and stuff.
Nice. And then in the editing, it all comes together, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, last question about Marlo that I want to ask, as I like blank out completely. So the editing about that was really great. And like, just as a director, like how did you communicate to the actors and the crew, like that you wanted that end result, that like very like just amazing, beautiful, like enchanting almost, like how did you, director Emmanuel, get your point across to have them create that? Yeah,
so I think it's a lot of like pre-production, like table reads and communication, and really I just think just fleshing it out and just bouncing ideas and allowing it to be a creative effort together. Like, they have sometimes the actors will be like, oh, maybe the character could do this instead, because there's one scene later in the movie where Marlo and River and Annalise's character and another character played by Parker Hill, they are, shout out to those two, they are together playing a guitar scene, and that whole scene is almost like I guess you could say improvised by those two and me. So I think it's all about like allowing it to be a team effort, everyone bouncing ideas, that way people could buy in and kind of understand what the story is
Nice.
trying to go to and what it should be like. And as far as editing, you know, I edited this one by myself, so it was just like,
Great job, dude. Like,
oh,
on
thank
all
you, bro.
these,
I
like,
appreciate
so
you,
great.
bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, so it was all about just like, I mean, it helps being there directing it, so I know like, okay, I was there, so I know how that is. This is the first time I learned about doing skin tones and properly color grading those and adjusting them through Premiere. So it was like, I didn't do that in my previous movie, so it was almost like I'm learning new things. So
Yeah.
the YouTube was another thing to help.
Yeah, shout out YouTube.
You shout out to
tutorials,
YouTube,
boy.
you man, you know. But yeah, I think the main thing really was about making it collaborative, so everyone could buy in and understand the vision and
Nice.
contribute.
Cool. Well, so the very last thing I want to ask, and then we'll kind of wrap up. So obviously we've been able to like see visually your growth and whatnot. I just want to ask, like, as a filmmaker, what are some areas that you still hope to like, grow in, or that you want to like really take the time to develop?
Yeah, definitely organization and I
Like
guess.
in terms of like working with the crew.
Oh,
like,
okay,
or,
cool. Yeah,
like,
yeah. So just I think just me personally, yeah, it has to go with just like planning and staying. I guess more is properly organizing with the crew and stuff and.
Making sure they're fed.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Making sure everyone's fed, taken care of, and
Yeah.
I think it's just more about like more organized.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me because in all the movies, right? Kind of been going over time, or sometimes I try to schedule a time for like, oh, we do this scene, but it sometimes go over.
Yeah.
So planning is another thing, and just being more neat about it, and I think that's the biggest things I struggle in.
Nice. Well, I think that's a really great one because that's actually such a great thing to develop on because a lot of filmmakers, especially indie ones, kind of talked about this last episode. They're just kind of doing whatever, but it's like you're working with human beings.
You
they
are,
have
man.
needs
You gotta
too,
take care of them. You gotta be able to, respect their time. Because I feel like a lot of like student productions, it's just like being lack of preparation and being last minute and things, and just like, oh, like okay, we should be fine. Like I know it maybe not clean, organized, like, and then you go to set and you're like, oh wait, I forgot something, and you go back home and like, oh wait, I forgot another thing. Go back and you're wasting people's time or whatever, or even just like just it's important to value people's time and really being organized and not waiting last minute or the weekend before to do something, but like a couple weeks in advance, be ready for that shoot, and especially in pre-production, have things like lined up and stuff.
Heck yeah. Thanks. I'm so glad we kind of ended on that question because I think that reveals not just, I think that reveals you just as a person, as a caring and sympathetic, or like, you empathize, you sympathize with others. And I think that's indicative of just like, you being a great person,
Oh, thank you, man.
not just a great filmmaker, but a great person. So I respect that. And I know like people who work with you probably respect that too, that you're taking the time to like, I'm going to fix this because I respect you enough to know that you're taking time out of your day, your career to like, be in this.
Most of the time it's just like, they're doing it for free, right? So it's just like, just being respectful about it, and making it collaborative.
Heck yeah. Well,
All that.
awesome. Thank you so much for that, Emmanuel. This has been absolutely amazing. Man, I feel like we could have talked for more hours.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely.
But like all, good things must come to an end, sadly. But regardless, Emmanuel, he's still going to be making movies. Check him out. Like, this is a legend in the making. Check it out.
Thank you.
So
you,
excited. And one more time, it's Little Brother Productions?
Yes, A Little Brother Productions on YouTube. Check us out, subscribe. We have our social medias in the bios and stuff. So want to follow us? Yeah, check us out.
Heck yeah, do that ASAP, like literally. But all right, Emmanuel, thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. And I think we're going to wrap it up and see you next time. I was going so smooth, I messed that up.
Oh, nah, dude, you're good, man.
All right, cool.